By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
Why did you let the party go on?
Of course, this is a personal thing, but the Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel.
Every day I was with her, I was not happy.
Right.
Like, I was not happy.
Right. It was the right thing to do.
And I saw myself, like, I was like, yo, I'm on top of the world.
Right.
Look at all the people I'm shaking hands with right now.
Did Clive Davis and Ray J get paid millions to take down Whitney Houston? New shocking evidence reveals a sinister plot behind her tragic death, exposing two of the industry's biggest names at the heart of it all.
You want to know what Clive Davis did for Whitney Houston? And the next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in.
Did these two men profit off Whitney Houston's tragic death? Or worse, were they part of a sinister plot that took her life?
Singer Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices of our generation, CNN has gotten confirmation from her representative, has died.
February 11th, 2012. The world stood still as the news of Whitney Houston's death spread. Found lifeless in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, just hours before Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. The public was told it was an accidental drowning, but for many close to Whitney, this explanation didn't add up. How could the vibrant and larger-than-life Whitney Houston be gone, just like that?
It was a setup. Yes, Nick was told not to let her go out of that house and to do whatever it was he got paid to do.
Leolah Brown wasn't alone in her suspicions. Following her death, rumors began circulating about the people closest to her in those final hours. And one person who was frequently mentioned in those rumors was Clive Davis. Clive Davis, the legendary music mogul, discovered Whitney and helped launch her to international fame.
Here she was, just turning 19, and she was stunning beauty, stunning vocalist, and I brought her on national television. I introduced her for the next generation.
But beneath the public image of a caring mentor was a man with dark secrets. Jaguar Wright claims that Whitney's death was no accident. According to her, Whitney had discovered that millions of dollars were missing from her earnings and was planning to leave Clive's record label. In case you didn't know, Clive Davis has been a powerful force in the music industry for decades, helping to launch the careers of legends like Whitney Houston and Biggie Smalls. But with great power comes great controversy. Davis's name has been linked to several suspicious deaths, most notably Biggie's. As we all know, Biggie was taken down in 1997. Some believe that, like Whitney, Biggie's death was orchestrated to keep him from leaving the label and taking his talent and potential earnings elsewhere. Anyway, Wright's criticism didn't stop there. She explicitly called out Clive Davis, the renowned music executive closely associated with Houston's career, accusing him of exploiting the singer's talent and struggles for personal gain.
Ain't a film to celebrate Whitney Houston. This is a film to, pay the pipe.
Referring to Davis's purported efforts to help Houston overcome her challenges prior to her death, Wright didn't mince her words. Wright went on to highlight Davis's actions leading up to Houston's demise, including sending her on an international tour despite her ongoing struggles with substance abuse. However, Clive Davis is not the only person that Wright mentioned. Jaguar Wright revealed that Ray J was the last person to see Whitney Houston alive, and that he was actually the one who let the substance dealer into her room to drug her.
She's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot.
She went on to say that Whitney had been beaten up before her death. Although Jaguar doesn't mention who was responsible for beating up Whitney, all the fingers currently point towards Ray J. In fact, after learning that Houston's use was one of the causes of her death, the icon's ex-husband, Bobby Brown's sister, Leolah, reportedly claimed that Ray J knew someone who sold substances and accused him of providing substances to Whitney. Leolah reportedly claimed that she witnessed Ray J leaving Houston's hotel room when her former sister-in-law died. She then accused Ray of being a runner boy for the music legend because he knew somebody that sold substances, from whom he bought and supplied them to Whitney. In addition to this, in a resurfaced interview, Ray J can be heard saying that he could get Whitney to be sober if he wanted to. This interview was conducted while Whitney was still alive, which meant that Ray J was actually controlling her at the time. What's even more shocking is that in that same interview, Ray J also admitted to using Whitney for clout.
Every day I was with her, I was not happy.
Right.
Like, I was not happy.
Right. It was the right thing.
And I saw myself, like, I was like, yo, I'm on top of the world.
Right.
Look at all the people I'm shaking hands with right now.
At this point, it is clear that Ray J did not care about Whitney and only used her to get his fame. Later on, when Whitney died, Ray J was seen at her funeral grabbing her casket and faking tears for fame and to catapult his career. In 2017, Ray expressed his regrets about what happened to Whitney and even confessed that he was to blame. Speaking to singer Stacey Francis during season of Celebrity Big Brother, Ray brought up the events from 2012, saying, "Stacey and we had a conversation about what happened with Whitney Houston before she passed. I never talk about it, but it was something I felt she wanted to talk about, and it was the right time, so we talked briefly about it. And I told them how I felt, how I blame myself on a lot of stuff." Ray also insisted that although several media outlets offered him millions to reveal secrets of the music icon's death, he turned down every single proposal. He said, "I had so many people calling me offering millions of dollars to have an interview. I was like, I don't need the money. It's not good money. That's just not right. My karma would be bad." Ray J and Whitney Houston had a well-known and often speculated about relationship that has captured the public's attention for years. Whitney Houston was already an established superstar by the time she met Ray J in the early 2000s. On the other hand, Ray was a young up-and-comer when he first met Houston. He had already begun his career as an actor, appearing on shows like The Sinbad Show and Moshe, and had just released his debut album, Everything You Want, in 1997. At the time, he was still a teenager, and he quickly became enamored with Houston's talent and presence. It's not entirely clear how the two met, but they quickly became close friends. They were often seen together at events and parties, and Ray J even appeared on Houston's reality show, Being Bobby Brown, in 2005. The show, which followed Houston and her then-husband Bobby Brown as they went about their daily lives, gave viewers a glimpse into the couple's tumultuous relationship, but it also showcased Houston's affection for Ray J. As the years went on, rumors began to swirl that Ray J and Houston's relationship was more than just platonic. Some sources claim that they had been romantically involved, while others insisted that they were simply close friends. Despite the speculation, neither Ray J nor Houston ever confirmed or denied the rumors. After Whitney died in 2012, Ray J was reportedly devastated by the loss, and in interviews following her death, he spoke candidly about their relationship, describing her as a mentor and a friend.
"I really miss my friend. You know, I really do. I'm still hurting."
In any case, despite the claims that Ray J might have actually been responsible for Whitney being on substances, we still cannot dismiss Clive's involvement in all this. In fact, the revelations surrounding Clive Davis and his potential to profit from Whitney Houston's untimely demise have sent shockwaves through the music industry. These discoveries have shed light on the notorious death clause, a provision that has long been shrouded in secrecy and controversy. This clandestine clause, also known as a non-performance or failure of performance clause, raises grave concerns due to its alarming implications. As findings have unveiled, the death clause is a contractual stipulation that grants record companies an astonishing level of power and potential for profiting, even in the face of an artist's untimely demise. This seemingly nefarious maneuver ensures that labels are not only entitled to recoup their investments, but also to lay claim to a substantial portion of the deceased artist's earnings from various revenue streams.
Think about this for a moment. When an artist signs his name on the dotted line to a record company, the record company will in many cases own all of the masters for the songs recorded under that contract. And when an artist signs to a major label, it's safe to say that their death is in many ways factored into the initial investment. And in many ways, after an artist has peaked in popularity, there becomes an awkward point in their career where the artist is worth more to them dead than alive.
The mechanism through which this clause operates is shrouded in secrecy, yet it essentially empowers companies to secure hefty insurance policies against the projected earnings of their artists. In a twisted turn of events, this provision renders record labels as beneficiaries of both the life and death of the very talents they are meant to nurture and promote. Intriguingly, this malevolent clause has evolved over time, adopting a subtler facade while maintaining its exploitative essence. Once valued in thousands, it now holds the potential to be worth billions, owing to the colossal investments labels make in nurturing and promoting burgeoning talents. The insurance policies procured under this clause serve as a safeguard against potential losses in the event of an artist's incapacity or demise, thereby safeguarding the label's investments and projected profits. Amidst this maelstrom of revelations, speculation has begun to swirl around the extent of Clive Davis's involvement with the death clause. As a mastermind behind the success of many artists, including Whitney Houston, questions arise about whether he reaped any benefits from the tragic loss of his prized protege. While no concrete evidence has surfaced linking Davis directly to this exploitative clause, artists and insiders have started to come forward, painting a troubling picture of his role in potentially capitalizing on the grim provisions of the clause. Whispers have transformed into outspoken voices as several artists shed light on their experiences within the clutches of the music industry's dark underbelly. Their stories echo the same sentiment, that the death clause, once a well-guarded secret, is not a relic of the past, but a contemporary reality. It has been alleged that Davis and other industry magnates might have leveraged this clause to their advantage, using it as a financial safety net against unforeseen losses. One person who spoke about this is avant-garde musician Diamanda Gallis. Days after Houston's tragic demise, Gallis took to her Facebook page calling the record executive a colossal pig. According to Gallis, Houston should have been allowed to study for a minimum of 2 years with a voice therapist or teacher before even rehearsing, let alone performing on stage. In the entry, she claimed that the singer was put back on stage before she was ready to perform by Davis. Gallis wrote that Houston was ill-prepared to perform, writing, "What was she put on stage as? A lesson that substances. Hey, want to see a crack hoe sing? Courtesy of Clive Davis." Wow, man, that will be some freaky-ish, right? You bet, man. Gallis didn't stop there, claiming that Davis could now, quote-unquote, package her death in frills and sell it big time, even during the nadir of record sales. She even went so far as to claim to foresee what the 79-year-old record industry vet would say in response. And Clive and Sony will say, even though we do not hope to even break even with this uncompromising tribute to Whitney Houston, we feel personally that it is her due as the foremost singer ever on our labels and as the lovely girl she always was to us. At the time, a spokesman for Davis responded by saying, "While Miss Gallis is entitled to her uninformed opinion, her Facebook post is wholly inaccurate and offensive. Clive Davis cherished Whitney and shares a mutual love for the Houston family. It is absolutely outrageous for anyone to suggest that Mr. Davis ever had anything but Whitney's best interest at heart. If you think it's only Gallis making these insinuations, you'd be wrong." Gallis's comments were echoed by Jaguar Wright in a recent interview where she claimed that Davis knew he needed Whitney back under his control, and that's why he was forcing her to have a comeback. For context, Clive orchestrated Whitney's comeback in 2009 after years of substance abuse and a messy relationship which ended in a messy divorce. Her debut album, I Look to You, sold 304,000 copies in its first 7 days on the market, sending Houston back to the top of the charts and giving her the best debut week of her career. Houston still stands for the best of songwriting, the best of singing, and we know the public wants it, Clive said in 2009. There is a song on this album which is called I Didn't Know My Own Strength, and it really speaks for Whitney. She tumbled, but she didn't crumble. In any case, Whitney did not release anything after that since her voice had been ruined due to substance abuse, much to Clive's disappointment. But despite the undeniable vocal decline and the unmistakable shadow cast over Whitney's star power, Clive's optimism seemingly remained unscathed. Of course, one might wonder if his rosy outlook was fueled by the substantial coin he continued to rake in from her legacy. It's difficult not to speculate whether Clive's unwavering hope was propelled by the echoes of revenue streams rather than genuine concern. In any case, it was no secret that the music mogul appeared to be more invested in making money than in his protege's well-being. You see, Whitney died on Feb. 11, 2012, the day before the Grammy Awards. This was hours before she was to attend Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. At the time, the public and lovers of her music worldwide were devastated by her passing. However, Davis, Whitney's self-proclaimed friend and mentor, still hosted his pre-Grammy party in the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the evening of February 11th, despite the singer's body remaining inside the building until 12:45 a.m. At the start of the event, he shared a tribute to Houston saying,
"By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
The Grammy Award winner continued, "I am personally devastated by the loss of someone who has meant so much to me for so many years. Whitney was so full of life. She was so looking forward to tonight, even though she wasn't scheduled to perform. Whitney was a beautiful person and a talent beyond compare. She graced this stage with her regal presence and gave so many memorable performances here over the years. Simply put, Whitney would have wanted the music to go on, and her family asked that we carry on." Whitney Houston's death on the eve of the Grammys in 2012 came as a horrific shock, if not entirely without warning. The platinum-selling singer and actress was to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammys bash at the Beverly Hilton that night, but instead, she died in a room upstairs after accidentally drowning in the bathtub. Whitney's death was tragic, but the heartbreak didn't end there. Just 3 years later, Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, was found unresponsive in a bathtub, eerily similar to the way her mother died. Bobby Christina was in a coma for 6 months before she eventually passed away. Her death sparked even more conspiracy theories, particularly from her aunt, Leolah Brown.
I believe that somebody my niece, just like they her mother.
Leolah has long maintained that both Whitney and Bobby Christina were victims of foul play, orchestrated by powerful figures who stood to benefit financially from their deaths. According to her, Bobby Christina was targeted because she inherited Whitney's estate and was planning to expose the truth about her mother's death. You see, Bobby Christina Brown, who was born in 1993, was the daughter of two music icons, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Whitney and Bobby Brown met in 1989 and married 3 years later. While fans often assume it was Bobby who led Whitney into a dark place, the I Will Always Love You singer herself revealed that she had a part in her substance demise. Although Whitney was a star, her substance AB led to missteps along the way. As Vanity Fair noted, she often arrived late to appearances and occasionally lost gigs. In 2009, she opened up to Oprah Winfrey about her substance addiction. She had been to rehab twice at that point, once in 2004 and again in 2005. And would give sobriety another shot in 2011.
You're just sitting there and you just watch TV and you go, that's bad.
She went on to add, "We weren't buying $20 jumbos. We were paying money. We were buying kilos and ounces. We would have our stash." Whitney Houston, the legendary songstress with a voice that could move mountains, met a tragic end on February 11th, 2012. Her untimely demise sent shockwaves through the world, leaving fans in the music industry reeling from the loss of one of its most iconic figures. While her legacy remains immortalized through her music, understanding the circumstances surrounding her death requires a closer examination of the events leading up to that fateful day.
Included the autopsy on Miss Whitney Houston. It was concluded today.
Officially, Whitney Houston's cause of death was ruled as an accidental drowning, compounded by heart disease and cocaine use, according to a detailed 42-page coroner's report. The report revealed a cocktail of substances in her system, including marijuana, Xanax, Benadryl, and Flexeril. However, it was determined that only and its metabolites contributed to her passing, while the other substances were deemed non-lethal. Los Angeles County Chief Coroner Craig Harvey shed light on the investigation, stating that the presence of water in Houston's lungs indicated that she was alive when submerged. Despite the level not reaching lethal thresholds, her death was complicated by chronic use and pre-existing heart issues.
Sometimes.
Always?
Not always, no. Sometimes. That means sometimes.
Coroner Assistant Chief Ed Winter outlined two possible scenarios. Houston may have lost consciousness due to intoxication or suffered a heart attack before drowning. The tragic discovery of Houston's lifeless body occurred within the confines of Suite 434 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, California. The sequence of events leading to her discovery unfolded rapidly. Just 40 minutes before her death, Houston had a seemingly normal conversation with her mother, Cissy Houston. However, less than an hour later, hotel security was alerted to her unresponsive state in the bathtub by her assistant. Police arrived promptly as they were already stationed at the hotel for Clive Davis's pre-Grammy Awards party. Despite efforts to revive her, Houston was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m., marking the end of an era in music. Houston's sudden departure sent shockwaves across the globe, prompting an outpouring of grief from fans and colleagues alike. Her death dominated headlines and served as a sobering reminder of the perils of substance abuse. Despite the passage of a decade, Houston's influence remains unparalleled, cementing her status as one of the greatest singers of all time. In the days leading up to her demise, Houston appeared to be in good spirits. Just a few hours prior, she attended rehearsals with singers Brandy and Monica for Clive Davis's star-studded event. At this particular time, Whitney handed a note to fellow singer Brandy during an interview. To this day, Brandy has never revealed what was written in that note, but many, including Jaguar Wright, believe it could contain crucial information about what Whitney feared in her final hours. Could she have been trying to warn Brandy about something? While we may never know the full truth about what happened to Whitney Houston and her daughter, the testimonies of those closest to them paint a chilling picture. Was Ray J just a bystander, or was he part of a larger conspiracy? And why did Clive Davis continue to party after Whitney's death? The questions remain, and as more people come forward with their stories, we can only hope that one day the truth will come to light. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.